Hey y'all, welcome to my channel or welcome back. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you are returning, you already know it. You are fabulous. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so this video is jam-packed with some gorgeous thrift flip DIYs, and I cannot wait to share these with y'all. So let's just go ahead and jump right in with DIY number one. This first one, I've got this gorgeous calendar from the Dollar Tree. Can y'all believe that the Dollar Tree is putting stuff like this out? Y'all, this calendar came in my goodie box, and I was so excited about it. I mean, check out the one for Christmas. Like, gorgeous. Hello. Then I have got two frames that I thrifted from the Goodwill for $2.99. I got both of these frames for $2.99. I loved them because of the work that was around the edges. I just thought it was gorgeous, a very pretty design, and I knew that I could do something with this. So I have got my ivory chalk paint by Waverly, and I am just going to give both of these frames two really good coats. I used my heat gun in between coats to dry it. I knew I was going to go back and distress these, but I wanted it to start out with a, nice base coat. That's why I went ahead and did the two coats. I wanted that brown completely covered, and then that way I could go back and distress them, and it would just, be perfect. So this is how they looked painted, and this is how they looked distressed. Not a lot of difference. So when I went to distress these, actually underneath the brown was white, and I didn't know that. So when I went to distress them, you couldn't really tell that I had distressed them unless you really got to looking at them, but they turned out really pretty. Now, I cut out my calendar page. I've then got 4 sheets of cardboard here, and the reason that I've got 4 is because I'm actually going to glue 2 pieces together to create the backing for our pictures. It was just flimsy cardboard, and so I just went ahead and decided to glue the 2 pieces together, and that way I would have a good, sturdy back to put our calendar pages on. Now, I laid my calendar page down, put my cardboard on top, and then traced it out. That way I could just go ahead and cut that calendar page and know that it was exactly the same size, perfect, would fit in there. Now, I've got my Aleene's tacky glue. I love using this stuff. I just smoothed that out on both pieces of cardboard. You just want to make sure and get it super smooth and really even. So I just take my paintbrush and go back and forth until I can tell that it's super smooth. I took those calendar pages and just glued those directly to my cardboard. Popped them right into the back of my frames, and y'all, these are done. Too stinking pretty. All right, moving right along, DIY number 2. Now, this one is super cute, but very simple. I found this basket at the Goodwill, y'all, and I picked it up for, I believe, $2.99. The tag fell off of it, but can y'all believe I found that basket at the Goodwill? Then I've got some just assorted pumpkins. Most of them came from the Dollar Tree. The plaid ones came from Hobby Lobby. I've also got some ribbon there that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And then I have got Burnt Umber by Apple Burl, and did y'all hear how I said that? Burl? Apple Burl. Lord, I'm already country. I don't need to do no more. Anyhow, then I have got Silver by Folk Art. And I'm just going to give this basket some dimension. I'm just going to, because it was like a muted brown color. So I just decided to add some of that silver in just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. And then also add in that burnt umber to give it, a couple little rust spots. But super simple. I just went around the entire thing with my little brushes. These are the Dollar Tree stencil brushes. And I just grabbed those, went around it, just added some of that silver in, like I said, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. And then I went back with the brown and gave it, just a few little rust spots here and there. So as you can see there, it's not a huge difference in it, but it did kind of give it a little dimension. I'm then going to add in my pumpkins, and Lord knows, OCD here, I had to rearrange these pumpkins 27,000 times, y'all. I put them in, I rearranged them a little bit, moved them around, picked this one up, moved this one over there, spun it around. I mean, really it didn't matter, but whatever. Y'all know how it is if you have OCD. Anyways, I took those two ribbons, just doubled the ribbon together, and then literally created a simple shoestring bow. That is it. Just very simple. I did dovetail my ends, but that's just my personal preference. I just think it looks nice. It looks nice and tailored, you know, a little more, it just looks better. Anyways, I'm going to add that to my basket. Now I realized after I tied the bow and got it all pretty that, hello, I didn't tie it to the basket. So literally had to untie it and retie it to the basket, but we got it on there. No big deal. And that was it. That's all I did to this. I think it's gorgeous, and hey, it's perfect just to have sitting around. Alrighty, y'all, DIY number 3, and probably my favorite. So I picked up this at the Goodwill. I believe I gave $4.99 for it. I just liked the way it looked. I'm not even sure what you actually call this. So if you do know, please leave it down in the comments. I would like to know what this thing is actually called. Now, I've got my ivory chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm going to completely paint this solid top to bottom, every little nook and cranny, just completely painted. And it did take a little while to paint this just because there were so many little twists and turns and, you know, trying to get in between everything and whatnot, but just gave it a really good coat of paint. I then sanded it down, and check it out. I'm in love. Like, I'm so obsessed with this piece. It's beautiful just like it is, but we're going to add a little to it. So we're going to make this a fall swag, maybe that's what we'll call it. So I've got all those florals from the Dollar Tree, and then I've got some lamb's ear from Walmart. Now, I couldn't figure out exactly how I wanted to do this, so this is what I come up with. I decided to take some burlap ribbon, and this is just from the Dollar Tree. Doesn't matter what it looks like because you're going to cover it up anyways. But I decided to take some of this ribbon and simply glue it to the back of it, and then twist it around it. Literally just wrap it around it. That way, when I decide to take this off, take the florals off of this, I've only got 2 little spots of glue, and they're on the back of this, and I can just pull this burlap right off, because you know that hot glue is not always going to stick. You know what I mean? So anyways, it'd be very easy to take it off, but I just simply wrapped it around it and then secured it in the back with a little bit more hot glue. I glued it to itself. I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side. Just simply from the back, I'm going to wrap it. And that way I could either glue my florals directly to the burlap, or I could stick them in the burlap, or I had a lot of different options by doing it this way. Because the only other thing I could come up with was actually wiring the florals directly to this thing. And I didn't want to do that because that would have taken forever. As many florals as I've got to go on this, I'd have been here all day doing that. So I just found it easier to do it this way, and it actually works out great. Just wait until we get into putting the florals on and you'll see what I mean. But like I said, I just simply secured it in the back and then wrapped it around it. I wrapped it pretty tight. You want it tight to where it's not bulky, but also, you know, you want to be able to get in between those little places. Now, I'm going to take my first of my lamb's ear. I've just got the stem, and I'm directly pushing it right down into that burlap. So it goes in one end and out the other. Same thing with my other piece. I'm just going down in that burlap. And it's a little, you know, tricky to get it down in there, but it will go down in there. And then the ends of my stems are actually sticking out the end. And then I can just rotate which piece of burlap I actually stick it down. Now, I took the ends and flipped those over so that it would actually stay, you know, attached in there. So I just continued this process. I stuck it down in there. It would come out the other end, and I'm going to fold it over. That way my lamb's ear stays in there. Now, once I got the lamb's ear in, that is when I began to start gluing stuff because I wanted to cover up that burlap. So whatever I could actually stick down in the burlap, I did. And then the rest of it, I just glued it to the burlap. That way we could cover up that burlap. But y'all, I added in so many different florals. The Dollar Tree is absolutely killing it with their florals this year. Well, not just this year. They did last year too, even for like Christmas. But their florals have really, they've stepped it up a notch. And this stuff looks gorgeous. And that's all I did to this. And I stinking love it. Oh! Moving right along, DIY number 4. All right, so this one is so simple. I've got this black wooden bowl that I picked up at the Goodwill for $2.99. I've also got one of these big candles. I was going to try to show you a little difference. You could do it with one of those kind of candles. Or I have got these that I picked up at the Dollar General for $1 last year after the season. So always check those sales. Now, all I did was take that bowl and I sanded it down just to distress it a little bit. You can see there around the rim of it, it's, you know, got a little bit of brown showing. So I did distress it. I then added in some of the Dollar Tree's maple leaves. I also added in some lamb's ear from Walmart. Just kind of tucked it in there, you know, trying to keep everything pretty even on each side of it, you know, or well, it's round, so it doesn't have sides, but y'all know what I mean. Now, I took some of these other picks that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Everything you see here will be from the Dollar Tree except the lamb's ear. And I believe the little pumpkins that I end up putting in it. Yeah, those came from the Dollar General store, actually. I got that pick with those pumpkins on it for like $3 at the Dollar General. But anyways, I did add in some of those pumpkins. Too stinking cute, y'all. This turns out so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. I've got some of these little pomegranate picks. Popped those in there just to kind of even it out a little bit. I wanted to break up, since the candles also have the maple leaves on them and they've got that orangey and brown color. I wanted to kind of break that up with some greens and some like the mauve color, maroon, whatever you want to call it. Just some different colors just to kind of break that up a little bit. But this is just gorgeous. Now, those picks that you see me putting in now, I did cut the leaves off of those because they looked a little cheap. But that's all I did to this. And y'all, check this out. It is stunning. And last but not least, DIY number 5. Okay, so for this one, I've got this birdhouse that I picked up for $2.99 at the Goodwill. I've also got this little like cake stand or riser, whatever you want to call it. I got that at a yard sale for like $1, I believe. I've had it in my stash for quite some time. Now, I did give this 2 really good coats of the black chalkboard paint that I pick up at the Dollar Tree. It's very good paint. Very good coverage. It's good paint for $1. Now, I'm taking one of these cork sheets that comes from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to trace out the top of my little riser. I'm then going to cut it out, but when I cut it out, I actually cut inside the line. So I wanted the circle to be a little bit smaller than what I had actually traced, because as you can see there on the riser, it's got like a little lip around the edge, and I wanted my cork sheet to fit just like down inside that. So I did cut it a little smaller than and I ended up having to go back and I just kind of trimmed at it until I got it, just like I wanted it. I'm then just going to peel off that back of it. It is very sticky. The adhesive on these cork sheets is great. There's no need to add any kind of extra glue or anything because they stick. Trust me. Then my little birdhouse can just go right on top of that. I've then got this gorgeous burnt orange pumpkin. I've got some ribbon and also a little thing of like garland. So I just popped my pumpkin inside my birdhouse. I'm then going to take the garland and I just kind of tied it to that one end. And then I'm just going to wrap it around this birdhouse. I just kind of weaved it in and out of the birdhouse and kind of wrapped it around and just kind of played with it until I got it the way that I wanted it. But I did this because I wanted it to kind of look like an old birdhouse that had been sitting for a while, and moss or ivy, something like that. Some kind of vine had like grown up around it. So I'm then going to take my ribbon, and what I did was pinch it in the middle, twist and loop, twist and loop. Do this 6 times. You're just going to twist it, make another loop, twist it, make another loop. Super simple bow. I learned how to do this at the flower shop, and this is the kind that they use all the time, and it's just such an easy little bow. You literally just pinch it in the middle and then twist and loop. Typically you'll make, about 6 loops, but you can make as many loops as you want. Snip it off, then snip off a little bit more ribbon, and you're going to use that extra little piece you just cut off to secure your loops. So I just wrapped it around my loops. I'm then going to tie it in a super tight knot. Just kind of double knot it there. And then you can just fluff out your loops. I then cut off another piece, and I did that so that I would have some long tails hanging. So I actually took that piece and just tied it to the birdhouse so that I would have some tails. I'm then going to take the little piece that we cut off to make our to tie the loops together. I'm going to use that to actually tie this bow directly to the birdhouse. And then that way, when I get ready to change this out for the seasons or, whatever, I can just undo all the little ties and it'll be fine. So nothing is glued. That's all I did to this, and I think it is absolutely adorable, y'all. And now for the final reveal. I hope that y'all enjoy. right, y'all. That is it for today. I hope that y'all have enjoyed these. I know I absolutely love doing thrift flips. They are my favorite. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps my channel. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family, and also subscribe. That would be awesome. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you will know each time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a blessed day.